Okay, students, this is a slideshow presentation on metric system and scientific notation. Starting out, we're going to talk a little bit about weight versus mass. Weight and mass are two different things. Weight is the downward pull of an object due to gravity, and mass is how much matter an object contains. Weight is measured with a spring scale, and mass is measured with a triple beam balance. And your mass doesn't change if you travel to another world, but if you were to go to the moon, your weight would be different. Your mass would be the same, but your weight would be different. In the United States, we use non-standard units for lots of things, like inches and feet, degrees Fahrenheit, etc. The scientific community uses SI units, and SI stands for the French Système International. In science, we use grams for mass, liters for volume, meters for distance, degrees Celsius for temperature. It's important for scientists to use the same units so that they can communicate effectively. One convenient thing about SI units is that they are all base 10. There are different prefixes for the units that multiply or divide the units by 10. And when multiplying or dividing by 10, all you do is move the decimal point. So 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. So you move the decimal point 3 spaces to the left. 100 centigrams is 1 gram. 1,000 milliliters is 1 liter. And milli, the prefix, is 1,000th of a liter. This is a lot easier than dealing with the old British units like 12 inches in a foot, or 3 feet in a yard, or 5,280 feet in a mile, etc. So when we're converting metric units, there's a helpful mnemonic device. It's King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk, and that's so that you can remember K is for kilo, H is for hecto, D is for deca, U is for units, that's our base units, either grams, meters, or liters, D is for deci, C is for centi, and M is for milli. So you take those base units and you put the prefix in front of it, and if it's kilo, it's 1,000 of the base unit. If it's milli, it's a 1,000th of the base unit. So there's 1,000 milligrams in a gram, and there's 1,000 grams in a kilogram. And when we're converting from one prefix to the other, all you have to do is multiply or divide by 10 the number of times that is equal to the number of spaces in the mnemonic device that you are going. So if you're going from kilo to deca, you have to divide or multiply by 10 two times because you're moving 2 spaces to the right. If you're going from milli to centi, you have to divide by 10 once to get to centi. The usefulness of the different prefixes depends on the situation. 99% of the time, you will only use base units along with kilo, centi, and milli. So that's the basics of metric conversion. Now moving on to something different, which is scientific notation. Scientific notation allows scientists to write really big or really small numbers in shorthand. 902 million is the same number as 9.02 times 10 to the 8th. 0.000882 is the same as writing 8.82 times 10 to the negative 4th. A number is expressed in scientific notation when it is in the form a times 10 to the nth, where a is between 1 and 10, and n is an integer. So if we take a really, really big number, like this width of the universe in kilometers, where's the decimal point now? It's after the last zero. And where do we need to move the decimal point in order to make the number between 1 and 10? There's only one place you can put a decimal in this number to make it between 1 and 10, and that's between the 2 and the 1, because 2.1 is greater than 1 and less than 10. So in order to get the decimal from where it starts off to where we want it, you have to move it 23 times. And since the original number is very big, the exponent is positive, and the answer in scientific notation is 2.1 times 10 to the 23rd. We're going to look at a couple of metric conversion practice problems here. So metric conversion we did first, and then we did scientific notation. We're back on metric conversion now. So we want to convert the number 45.23 liters into milliliters. So liters is a base unit. That's the U in the middle of the mnemonic. Remember, King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. And we need to move it over to the M for milliliters. And so that's 3 spaces to the right. So we move our decimal 3 spaces to the right. 1, 2, 3. And we end up with the number 45,230 milliliters. 45,230 milliliters is the same amount of volume as 45.23 liters. And in this second problem, we want to convert 25 millimeters into centimeters. Well, if we're starting out with millimeters, that's the M, and we're moving over to centimeters, that's the C. So you move the decimal point 1 place over to the left. So it goes from 25 millimeters to 2.5 centimeters. In both cases, it's the same amount of distance. It's just 2 different ways to measure it. And the notes also have a couple of scientific notation practice problems on here. The first one is to write this number in scientific notation. We've got 0.0000002. The format for scientific notation is a times 10 to the nth, and a has to be between 1 and 10. So where can we move the decimal point in our number so that it is greater than 1 and less than 10? After the 2. So starting with 0.0000002, we move to the decimal place 7 places to the right. So n is negative 7 and a is 2.0. And the format for scientific notation is a times 10 to the nth. So the answer is 2.0 times 10 to the negative 7th. The exponent is negative anytime your standard format is a very, very small number, which I think 0.0000002 qualifies as a very small number. And the second scientific notation problem has a larger number. That is 5,400,000. And we've got the same format. We need the a to be between 1 and 10. So we're going to move our decimal point between the 5 and the 4. So starting with 5,400,000, we had to move the decimal point 6 places to the left. So n equals 6 and a equals 5.4. The same format for scientific notation applies, and the answer is 5.4 times 10 to the 6th. The exponent is positive anytime your standard format is a large number. And that's it for this set of notes. Have a nice day.